high numbers. From getting ourselves together, it will give us a lot of mileage. A lot of things we can disseminate through being together. Let us think within ourselves. We're not the whole actually. We will open a platform where this will be the center of it, so that we'll keep, putting ideas in, so that as time will go on, even if we don't finish it, other people who are coming in when we have become old or when we're already gone, will work with it, work towards it, and be able to make it happen any day in the future. It won't be difficult. Since I became Igbo, sorry to say, I look at the level of new things I have learned due to the problems that come to me. As me attending the Jesuit, sometimes I go Enugu. Enugu bụ nnukwu ọgọ m, Morike. I'm the Jesuit there. We had the past. How was it handled? Oh, I've been here, my area. I'm learning everything. And on our back, when the community puts their hand together and puts a cap on you, the spirit of that land follows you. The spirit of the place follows. A problem comes into my head, the solution follows. When they were meeting this year, and I find myself very difficult to explain to people some of those things. Therefore, this life, whether anybody believes it or not, are somewhere looking. There's somewhere watching. Who will listen about the woman? Judgment. And there's no repentance in the grave. Without good study about what has happened in the past. In this same Bible that is teaching us about God, a certain man called Lazarus died. One day, why Jesus Christ, the number, Jesus said, wonder how. And the man had died for 4 days. I'm saying, I'm usually working the proper meaning of it. I said, hey, I'm on his roller and on this quiz. What happened Jesus had there, Lazarus no in the grave. What is Lazarus be here forever? Lazarus be here. The only translation of this thing, the only meaning of this thing, only one relevance somewhere. Whether anybody believes it or not, no. Try to see for yourself. The relevance, like the Igbos believe when they start praying, they call on their fathers that have passed to be part of what they are doing. It is corroborated by this singular narration in the Bible where somebody had died for 4 days and Jesus Christ called him back. When my father died, I was still a boy immediately after my youth service. I just buried him, given the level of what we can afford. But somewhere along the line, I saw that my brother, I didn't go to buy this doors. I dress, I buy this. I want to look there, I want to look there, I want to look there. And then we'll tell us of what they will do. I go on our father. If I can't tell you, in my family, all the things we were struggling to make happen. Started happening. These are experiences I corroborate and collaborate with the knowledge I have had in the last 60-something years of my life. Those things are there. Therefore, if we get together, if we no matter na ike na-eru maka ya onye ọbụla ejetụọ mma na udo nwere ike ịtụ n'udo ọma. We bring a lot of togetherness and group success from the Igbo. So because Prof, I know under you as in the teaching also, I'm going to drive this process. I want you to, start looking for ways to upgrade it. Because this is the 5th time we are coming together. Let's continue driving it until everybody who is supposed to hears it. And we fix a date, we will think about the vision.
Tony Achinanyaze, Tony Igbo. When Igbo was talking, I went down memory lane, remembering the late Catholic Bishop of Enugu Diocese, Bishop Michael Rubeneje. In one of the occasions, he celebrated a mass at Daughters of Divine Love Congregation at Babanike, and he was asked to give a homily as the chief celebrant. After about 3 hours of a very wonderful homily, he turned to us, the congregation, and said, I didn't want to take your time. I would have said more after 3 hours. But today, His Royal Majesty said, I was not informed that I'm going to make an opening speech. But here we are with a very wonderful lecture as opening speech. Thank you very much, Your Majesty. When he was giving us his opening speech, ndị ọzọ dị iche iche bata, onye nke izizi bụ ọzọ nọ prọfesọ na dọkịta Chike na Chinwe Anibueze, ana m ekele ụlọ ọzọ ijele eze agụ. Ọzọ natara aga ihe ọkụ n'ọnụ, ọzọ Alex Amujuoku, ana m ekele gị. Ọzọ ọnọdụ ugo, ana m ekele gị. Ọzọ eze akọ n'obu n'ọnọ ya, ana m ekele gị. Na-emeghe nne, biko ọ bụrụ na ị nwere mmiri dị gị n'iru, indiketi ekenye gị mmiri, ịchọkwuo ma mmanya a ga-enye gị, mana ị chọrọ ka onye ọbụla nọrụ jụụ ka anyị nwee ike ịkpọpụta ọka nkụzi Very Reverend Father Professor Nwankwo Nnamdi, Rector Enugu State Polytechnic Iworo, ka ọ bịa nye nkụzi pụrụ iche na agba nke ise iri ji ya na agba nke ịnọ ihe nkụzi a na-akụzi maka iri ji. Ya bụ na ana m akpọlite Very Reverend Father Professor Nnamdi Nwankwo ka ọ pụta n'ọgbọ, kwalụ na aka ka ọ na-apụta. Ka ndị give him a round of applause. Kụsialụ na aka ike. Ọzọ oke nwa na-amụrụ ọha n'eke, kụsialụ na aka ike. Thank you very much, Father. The President, biko ndị ọzọ ihe onye chiri ya zaa, ana m ekene ndị ọzọ niile, na-ekene ikwu na ibe ọha na eze na nke onwe. By God's grace, mụ na onwe m bụkwa ọzọ. My mentor, Father Professor Stan Ani, mgbe ọ nọ ndụ, chiri ọzọ wee na anyị mata na ndị fada na-echi ọzọ. So mgbe ugobuzo ịnọ nke onwe ịma ihe leko, mgbe ndị ọzọ ndị eke chọrọ ichiwe ọzọ azọwa ha wee zọrọ aja ebe bishọp wee kpọọ m sị m ndị bụ unu chọrọ ichi ọzọ, nsogbu adịghị ma ha gbara na-agọghị aka. So ewee chie m ọzọ na-eke na-aza ọzọ asịrị ọha niile so aha mbụ ọzọ nwa na mụlọ aka m asị ha nwa n'oyibo maka na edere m n'oyibo mana ndị bidoro oko agbawa ọha ọjị n'Igbo ọnọchitewo agha Igbo so ka anyị na-asụwa n'oyibo maka ada ama ama owe ndị si akụkụ ọzọ bịa ka ha soro anyị. The relevance of Igbo New Yam Festival in cultural identity and unity of Ndi Igbo. This is the topic given to me by the organizers of this day. Introduction. Today, as Nzuko Ndi Igbo celebrates her 2024 Iwaji New Yam Festival with a conference and chose my humble self to be their guest speaker, I am not only delighted but most intrigued by the topic of discussion. It is a privilege to discuss this most important festivity among Igbos, and particularly interesting is to have the opportunity to make suggestions that, if followed, will unite Igbos as a cultural entity and give us opportunity for further unity in the socio-political and religious spheres. The conference theme, which is on the need to unify the celebration of Iwaji New Yam Festival in Igbo land, will be paramount in my mind as I discuss these possibilities. But first of all, let us understand what is Ji, its origin and importance. History and origin of Ji. Yams are botanically called Dioscoriae species. They are the flowering plants of the Dioscoriaceae family. It has more than 600 species in the world. They are underground tubers with heart-shaped leaves. They are essentially tropical and grow extensively throughout the tropical and warm temperate parts of the planet. Though their geographical distribution is now affected by human translocations. This tuber crop is autochthonous to Africa, Asia, South and Central. Artifacts dating from about 50,000 BC show evidence of wild yams being used for sustenance in West Africa. Wild yams were food for the elephants before humans adopted it as food. Yam cultivation appears to have developed independently in two regions, in West Africa and Southeast Asia, about 300 BC. Evidence has it that Dioscoriae rotundata, a common yam species, was domesticated in West Africa around 5000 BC. Species of yam. There are 6 major species of yam in the world, but of course, there are numerous subspecies resulting in 600 mentioned above. The grafting technology has also helped to increase the numbers in today's counting. The 6 significant species of yam known today are: 1. The Indian yam, Dioscoriae trifida. 2. The winged or water yam, known as Dioscoriae alata. Guinea yam, Dioscoriae rotundata, is very common in West Africa. Yellow Guinea yam,
Diaspori Kanyanesin is another popular yam in West Africa. Lesser yam, Diaspori Esculenta, is more grown in the subcontinent of India, on the South Pacific Island, and in Vietnam. Cinnamon vine and Chinese yam, called Diaspori polystachya, are cultivated more in East Africa and Northern Australia. The water yam is called abana or mbana in Igbo land. The full name of the water yam, which is mostly forgotten, is abanong. In the traditional Igbo land, this species of yam was medicinal and was used to intubate people who were losing consciousness and bring them back to life. Abanong means that it will not allow one to enter the realm of the dead. So people shorten Abanong to being Abana, Mbana, or whatever na they call them in their special dialects, but it actually means Abanong. Chinua Achebe calls yam in Things Fall Apart the king of food. Yam, being indigenous to the Igbos, was the most stable food and was revered above all food items. The Igbos associate yam with the gods. It must be a food brought down by the gods themselves for the sustenance of their folk. The particular god that brought yam to the Igbos is called Nzuko. People worship Nzuko as a deity, and the festivity by which he is honored is called Ifajioko, or any other way it is called. Iliji or Iwaji has become the more centrally acceptable name for Ifajioko. The aura surrounding yam has become so spiritual that taboos and norms were created to preserve its integrity and legacies. For instance, women were forbade to plant and to harvest yam, and so many others. New Yam Festival. In Nigeria, many communities adore the gift from heaven with varieties of festivity. We can only mention the festivities of three major tribes, Igbo, Yoruba, and Tiv. The Igbos call their New Yam Festival Iliji or Iwaji, which can last up to 1 month in celebration, or 1 week, in celebration. The Yorubas call their own Egungun, and it witnesses lots of display of masquerade. The Bune people of Tivland call their own Ebamkahu, and it is characterized by traditional dances and music. Even in West Africa, we find the Apaside festival of the Ashanti in Ghana in consonance with the spirit of Iliji. Also, we have the Ngonsu festival celebrated by the Bamum people of Cameroon. All these festivals are dedicated to the New Yam Festival gods. Preparations for the festivity in Igbo land. Once more, once the month of the festivity is announced, the mood of the town will take a different tone. Farmers will begin to harvest their yams. The best ones are selected for the festival, while the rest will be tied to the barn. They do separate those for consumption from the ones for the next farming session. Among those for consumption will be also those for commerce. Secondly, homes, streets, and public spaces are cleaned and decorated with palm fronds, leaves, and colorful fabrics. The women groups will organize themselves for the cleaning repertoire. They will be singing and they will be sweeping while singing and making genres. Thirdly, the ladies will do their last market purchases before the festivity proper. Traditional dishes such as pounded yam, egusi soup, and akara are prepared, while the men get themselves busy with the special act of getting the masquerades ready for the D-Day. Also, it was the duty of the men to seek for the best palm wine for the occasion. Actually, in some communities, like in my community, the month of the celebration of palm wine, of New Yam Festival, palm wine is normally in abundance because there is nothing like marriage ceremonies or any other ceremony in that month. In my town, we call it Owa Ejimaya Emegena. Nobody celebrates anything. So palm wine will be in abundance for that celebration. It is the onus on the shoulder of the menfolk, to cross all the T's and dot the I's for the celebration. Festival activities. For want of time and for the scourging of this sun, let me only highlight the major events of the festivity. Every community is somehow different in what they do and display during the festivity. What is common is that they are all colorful, flamboyant, and gaily. The festival typically includes traditional dances, one, cultural troops perform dances such as the Atilogo dance or the Ogene dance. Two, music and drumming. Traditional music and drumming fill the air like the Ikoro, the Ngede, etc. The third one, yam display. Harvested yams are displayed during this period, and the best yams are awarded prizes. This may be something we may look back at and revive them. We award prizes to the biggest yam cultivated. Feasting. Communities come together to share food and drink. In-laws visit one another, and drama performances showcase cultural heritage. The significance of the New Yam Festival. The New Yam Festival brings in many important significance to the Igbos of the Igbo people. Economic significance. Yam sales. Farmers sell their harvested yams and generate supporting local business. Cultural exchange. The festival promotes cultural exchange, fostering economic cooperation. Social significance. Reuniting with families and friends. Cultural heritage. The festival preserves cultural traditions, passing them down to younger generations. Social cohesion. The celebration promotes unity and solidarity among community members. Modernization and challenges. The festival faces challenges in modern time, including urbanization. Urbanization, we think, may be a good thing, but actually it has really affected our culture in a very strong way. Younger generations may prioritize urban lifestyle over traditional practices because there is no transition. Commercialization. The festival cultural significance may be overshadowed by commercial interests. we can see what is happening today. Whenever Igbos have something in common, like voting or anything, they will not leave their commercial stand to attend. Climate change. Changing yields, yam yields, and impacting the festival sustainability. So these are things we may look at, all these challenges, while we are thinking of way forward. Now, conclusion and my prayers. The New Yam Festival, Iwaji Igbo, is definitely the most exciting and the most unifying festivity of the entire Igbo land. It is the one phenomenon that every Igbo man is happy to associate himself or herself with. When I was studying at Duquesne University, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Igbo community there were celebrating New Yam Festival every year. And it was hilarious. I visited the then ambassador to Spain, Iyom Bianca Ojukwu, and we took a trip to the southern region of Spain, where the Igbos were celebrating Iwaji or Iwaji Festival. There, I saw that the Igbos could be unified culturally, as against the argument that cultural unity of Igbos is impossible due to the varieties of community practices. My body tingled as I watched the unified events there in Spain. If Igbos in diaspora can do it, why can't the Igbos in the southeast Nigeria do it even better? Why can't we have a unified celebration of Iwaji in Igbo land on one accepted day? The celebration could take place in Enugu for all Igbos, or in every state capital on the same day. I therefore advocate for a universal celebration of Iwaji Igbo on a day recognized as a public holiday for the entire Igbo. This unification will not stop individual communities from celebrating their peculiar festivity at their own agreed time without conflicting the interests of the Igbo nation. Stick to the public holiday so as to make it global. In the Christendom, as the president mentioned in his opening speech, in the Christendom, Christmas is celebrated on the same day worldwide. My question is, why can't New Yam Festival, Iwaji, enjoy what Christmas has been enjoying for the past 2,000 years? If the church can do it, the Igbos can do it as well. The Nzuko Igbo can do it also. We have so much in the life of the Igbo man that suggests unity, but nothing can unify us better than the food that sustained our ancestors ab initio. I can understand the confusion of the modern Igbo child when it comes to the preeminence of yam. The presence and the usage of cassava products have affected our modern concept of the preeminence of yam. Cassava was not indigenous to Africa. It was introduced to Nigeria by some Portuguese merchants in 1500s. That is in the 16th century. While yam was here even before we came. And yam was discovered here was made our major food 5000 BC. So the Portuguese brought it from Brazil to increase variety of food in their new area of trade. However, the Igbos in their wisdom call Gari Obiare Igbo Ogu, Bulisi Ogu. The one that comes to mediate in the fight between Yam and the people then has become the chief fighter. Now we know that Yam is the landlord. We should acknowledge him with a global festival day for the entire Igbo race. Once more, I doff my hat to the Nzuko and the Igbo for creating this opportunity for us to ruminate on the possibility of a unified day for the celebration of the New Yam Festival. I pray that this dream will come through in the nearest future. And I volunteer myself for any function that will make this venture possible. Thank you very much. Reverend Father Professor Nnamdi Ewanko, Rector Enugu State Polytechnic Iwolo, Professor of Philosophy, Coal City University, Enugu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, very Reverend Father Professor Nnamdi Ewanko. Can we stand up on our feet to give him a standing ovation, considering his constituency and the lecture he just delivered? Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, of course, sitting down. Well, let me not dwell on that. Thank you very much, Prof. May we be seated. Very Reverend Father Professor Nnamdi Ewanko will be better described as like Professor Stan Ani, like Professor Nnamdi Ewanko. Just like in the words of the founder of Alaba Mission and a renowned teacher, K.O. Onyoha. Onyoha, in one of his quotes, said, and I quote, if one's education does not find meaning in one's culture, such a one is not educated but sophisticated. You can see that not just that very Reverend Father Professor Nnamdi Ewanko, his education found meaning in the culture of his people. His belief also found meaning in the culture of his people. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Considering his constituency as a priest of the Catholic Church and the challenges of the lectures, you can see that he did excellently well. We can call on I can never be phone to go for the call Professor Aka. Now no easy. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Na ga-ewepụta ofu ụbọchị ndị Igbo ga-agbakọ n'ọnụ wee na-eriju afọ ya kwadoro ya na ga-atinye oke ya. Ọ bụrụ na Krismas ga-emenwu ya na ndị Igbo ga-emenwu ya na ndị ọzọ ga-emenwu ya. And it is doable. Having said this,
Royal Highness
Engineer
Mike Ozigwe on our live.
But I get one musical interlude. Etie Butebu. I wear waji. I jimakia webia. I waji. I alataka. I na alataziaka. I was a new one here. Hagwani. On a tupa ya menka Ndozo in our usual majestical appearance. Aka etebe uye. Ayama se ka apụọ mana uhe ge na-akpọ anyị na-echele cultural performance. Onye bịa tu uhe ọgbago ọjanọla anụ n'ochi ya to represent our normal procession. Ọ bụrụ na imezie ya anyị enene ndị cultural troupe anyị awọ ji anyị elibe ife maka na asị na ana oriri a na-abụrụla ọnụ nkafe ma eburu n'uche na a na-eli akụ a na-abịa uhie give us the best of uhie sitiwela anyị uhie ka ndị ọzọ bịa gagharịa wee nọrọ anyị ka ihe nwee na-eme wee ike ịba ya. Thank you very much. ihe chere ka a gọọ mmanya na ọzọ na foundation ọrịa ya bụwa
ndị mmanụ chakwa